This is the render review for Blender Challenge 4, which was to create a security device. And I want to remind you that if you'd like to partake of these challenges, they're for relative beginners, just check out the information section below the video. And you can post your whips and your final render on the zerobio Discord server, and you can talk to other people involved in the challenge or just doing Blender in general. In terms of challenges that we've already done, Blender Challenge 1 was to create a room, had a reference image, and we tried to create that same look, as close as we could. Blender Challenge 2 was to create a communications device. Challenge 3 was to do a dungeon. We are now on Challenge 4. It just ended, and so I'm going to show you the renders for the security device. And the next challenge is Blender Challenge 5, which is to create a weapon of some sort, and I'll talk more about that in the future. So, here we go with Blender Challenge 4 render review. This is just a key and a doorknob that I did a long time ago, but I guess it sort of fits the security. All right, security device. So here we go, looking at these renders. So here we have our first render, what looks like some kind of a robot bodyguard with video camera outside of bar 4. It's a really cool atmosphere in this image. Now looking at the depth of field, the slight blur that you can see, and the robot in focus all scuffed up from all kinds of fights outside of the bar or whatever. Very cool. And of course, if you're going to be doing the theme of security, you're going to need some form of locks. And so here we have a really nicely modeled lock on a door, and you can see the nice texturing work as well on the wall and on the door. And I think I have another image of that same lock. So the interesting thing about this is that it looks like it really would work. All right, all the pieces fit together, and it really makes sense. So very nice. Here we have a cool vault-like room, and you just look at, there's a lot of detail and beautiful lighting. We got some video cameras up on the ceiling, a security keypad there, and then the vault itself. And I think I've got another image just to zoom in and look at the detail of that vault door itself. And we definitely want what's inside there, but gosh, you got to go through this circular huge door, and then you got to go through another little gate-like structure before you get to the gold. Very nice. Now, like I said, there are people with varying levels of skill here, and the idea, of course, is to have a good time and to just improve our modeling. But you can see the nice detail on this model here and how neat and sharp this is. You can use any add-ons, whether it's box cutter or hard ops or whatever that you want. I tend to try not to use anything that doesn't come with Blender. I might have something for display my polys and n-gons, but in terms of modeling, it's basically vanilla Blender. That won't always be the case, but now and then of course for texturing, people might use Photoshop or whatever graphics program, and they might use Substance Painter or something else. Let's zoom in here just to see some of these nice hard edges. So I can see a camera up top, and I forget what kind of device this is, but I don't think I'd want to encounter that in the hallway. Very nice. And here we see another communications device. People have to juggle their work, their kids, their school, their lives, and take part in the challenge. And we don't always have time to finish, and that happens to me quite a bit. And so whether or not a model gets finished, it doesn't matter as long as we do something and submit something. And so this one is left unfinished for the time being, but it looks incredibly detailed nonetheless, and very well planned out. And of course you can see that there's a person model in there So to give scale, and that's always a good idea, and that's something that I suffer from. I tend to skip that quite often, and sometimes my dimensions are off. First thing to look for, in your modeling, if something doesn't look right to you, think about the scale. Often we'll make something really big and something really small. You don't really notice it in the moment, and then later on you come back and you go, I just don't know what's wrong with this. It's a lot like mixing music as well. You got to step back for a while, shut the thing down, come back, and also have a view from somewhere else in the room. Don't, instead of just right in front of your monitor, look from the sides, look from further away, and sometimes you'll see things that you didn't at first, or we choose not to see because we're enjoying the process of modeling so much. Look at the ambience of this. We've got a nice little scene with a chair and a table, and on there we see a flashlight, which you're going to need if you're like a security guard of some sort. You've got the badge there with some modeling on the badge and some decal work on the badge, and of course you've got your trusty walkie-talkie. That would be a pain to carry. I remember the days of those types of things, but it definitely suits the scene for that. So great work. And this one reminds me of countless numbers of computer games or movies. Of course, I'm a big fan of Alien Isolation. I know that's getting old now. So am I. But we've got what looks like blood stains on some kind of air vent or whatever, quarantine zone 3. And we've got some grunge on here, and it's just looking great. And here's another idea, what looks to be something like tasers, but of course these are placed on a really nice, cool background as well, so it just suits the artistic aspect of this, with a little reflection there. So these some kind of guns, tasers, for security purposes. And I've got another one to show you another angle of this as well. So there's really creative work and a lot of detailed to create these edges that are very smooth and flowing and just lead your eye along the model. All right, even that the gun grip and where you put your fingers, with a nice texture. That thing would rest nicely in your hand, and whoever's on the other end of it better watch out. Very nice. And of course we got to get into that sort of retro thing. Here we got some kind of a eye or retinal scanner here with a lot of different components on here. And one thing that, as I look at this, and I think of this sort of steampunk theme, the thing that I think the best on this is that light bulb in the cage. I just find it looks beautiful. The whole thing is great. We'll look at another angle or two. Might be a little dark here, but you can see on the other side the gauge, various pipe work, very an environmental piece. Let's zoom in. I just wanted to have another look at that gauge there. That's just really nice, and the scratch work on the metal. So. And then we have to finish up with my stuff. I had set out to do a motion tracker, like an alien motion tracker, for my security device. And so here's an image from one point of view. I should say that because I'm doing the videos, modeling it along, during the process of the challenge, if that made sense. It's hard sometimes to think on your feet, and I don't get to do stuff on the side and then show you the final result. I'm kind of doing it along with you, and that presents challenges as well. I don't get to experiment maybe as much as I would, or fake stuff as much as I would like to. And then I often run out of time when it comes to the final texturing. And as I've said, quite often my favorite part is the modeling. I think some of you feel the same way. And then sometimes I tend to just, okay, I've modeled it, I'm just going to do a quick render, I'm going to move on to something else. And I don't pay as much attention to materials as I should. Yeah, that's a whole other aspect of Blender. And some people are better at it than others, and a lot better than me. So right now this has got the clean sort of look, And we'll just look at another view. So there's my security device as well. So that was a lot of fun, and thank you to everybody for participating in that and for your dialogue on the Discord server and on my videos as well a little bit. The next challenge, of course, is Blender Challenge 5, which is to create some kind of a weapon. That could be anything. It could be a knife, it could be a bow and arrow, it could be a sci-fi gun, a tank, whatever you like. And we'll talk more about that challenge in a bit. You got a few weeks to do that. So looking forward to seeing any further renders that you might do. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.